2014 Vero Beach Canvassing Board Election Certification Meeting and the organizational meeting of our City Council. First, I'd like to ask the City Clerk to call roll of the Canvassing Board.
Mr. O'Connor?
Here.
Mrs. Bach?
Here.
Mr. Clement?
Here. And now if you would all please stand, we'd like to have the City Clerk lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, Mrs. Bach, could you please give us a report on the election?
We have received the certified election results from the Supervisor of Elections, and I'm happy to announce that the election went very smoothly this year.
Very good. Mr. O'Connor, could you please read for us the board's proposed resolution into the record?
This is resolution number 2014-38, a resolution of the Canvassing Board of the City of Vero Beach, Florida, certifying the results of the November 4th, 2014 municipal general election in the City of Vero Beach, Florida. Whereas the election returns of the municipal general election held in the City of Vero Beach, Florida on November the 4th, 2014 have been tabulated and certified by the Indian River County Supervisor of Elections and canvassed and certified by the Indian River County Board of Canvassers as evidenced in the Certificate of Canvassing Board, a copy of which is attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated herein. And whereas the certified official election returns show the results of the municipal general elections are as follows. City Council, 2-year terms, 3 elected. Jack Shoup, total votes 1,941. Brian Hetty, total votes 1,437 votes. Harry Howe, total votes 2,099. Pilar Turner, total votes 2,640. Charlie Wilson, total votes 1,989. Jay Kramer, total votes 2,747. Randy Old, total votes 2,718. Referendum on amendment of City of Vero Beach Charter Section 5.05. Shall City Charter Section 5.05 be amended as provided in Ordinance 2014-11 to add the following properties to limit their sale, lease, trade, or gift in listed exceptions, corrected certain park names, and deleted obsolete language. Crestlawn Cemetery, Old City Nursery, Block Manor Park, Charles Park, Jacoby Park, Alex McWilliams Boat Basin Park, Piece of Pie Park, Pine Terrace Park, Royal Palm Point Park, Van Bush Park, Lake Rose, Leisure Square, Michael Field. Yes for approval, total votes 4,288. No for rejection, total votes 1,223. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Canvassing Board of the City of Vero Beach, Florida, that the results of the municipal general election held in City of Vero Beach on November the 4th, 2014, are certified to be shown above in this resolution, and will result with the result that Pilar Turner, Jay Kramer, and Randy Old are hereby declared to be duly elected members of the City Council of the City of Vero Beach, Florida for the ensuing 2-year term, and the referendum on amendment of the City of Vero Beach Charter Section 5.05 was approved, all as duly tabulated and certified by Indian River County Supervisor of Elections, done and entered on the 17th day of November 2014. Canvassing Board of the City of Vero Beach, Florida. I so move.
Second.
Those in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution and motion have passed and approved unanimously. What we'd like now is have our newly elected or re-elected council members sworn in for the administration with the administration of the oath by the City Clerk.
You all stand and please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support, honor, and protect and defend the Constitution and government
and government
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution
under the Constitution
of the state
of the state
and under the charter
and the charter
of the city of Vero Beach,
of the city of Vero Beach,
and that I will and faithfully perform
and that I will and faithfully perform
the duties of city council member,
the duties of city council member,
of which I am now about to enter.
which I am now about to enter.
So help me God. Congratulations to all of you.
Congratulations. If our
Congratulations.
5 council members, our 5 council members will now join us on the dais. We'll proceed with election of mayor. And the canvassing board meeting is adjourned.
Anywhere.
Take all the seats. Can you get through?
Yes, thank you.
Now call to order the meeting of the City Council. Our first order of business will be election of a mayor. But first, what we like to do is provide for public comment on the subject of mayor. If there's any public comment on who should be nominated or elected mayor, could you please come forward at this time? Seeing none, I'll take nominations for mayor.
I'd like to nominate Dick Winger.
Are there any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Jay Kramer. Both men I have so much respect for, so I'm looking forward to either one leading us.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. We can do this by paper ballot as we've done in the past. Of course, it's public. You need to put your name on it. Or we can do it by voice vote, however you prefer.
I think voice vote.
Okay. The first nomination was for Dick Winger for mayor. You want to do a roll call vote,
Sure.
Tammy?
Mr. Old,
Yes.
Ms. Graves,
Can I say yes twice? This is terrible. No.
Mrs. Turner,
No.
Mr. Kramer,
Well, I don't know. You know, it's a funny thing. You know, I'm gonna step off here a little bit and just and do a comment. You know, I would rather have Mr. Winger vote as well before I do, but quite frankly, I mean, we just need to make sure that we've got a council that's just going to do what's right for the people. Perhaps, you know, Mr. Winger hasn't finished all the things that he wants to do. And one of the things I really want to let people know is that when I was mayor, the one thing that was consistently reminded me of was that we can have an organizational meeting at any time. And quite frankly, if you know, if Mr. Winger continues to be mayor to finish some things out, I think that's okay. You know, again, if things finish up, you can have an organizational meeting later. But I don't know. I'd like to hear what Mr. Winger has to say.
Well, Jay, that's very kind of you, and you know, I publicly said that I would serve if elected, and the reason for that is there's a number of things that I would like to finish. One I'll have tomorrow, which I'll have a PowerPoint on, which is having to do with city resources and stormwater. One of the things I think we're going to have to do, regardless of who is mayor, is tomorrow night we're going to have to talk about and get some policy guideline for whomever is mayor going forward. But behind the scenes, I've been doing a number of things, and I would like to have those sanctified if I were mayor, and if not, orderly transferred to you. I would rather continue at least for the next 6 months or so and finish up what is underway. I think it's in the best interest of the citizens. I'm, of course, a short-timer. I think this, and I think this is worth saying. I think the last city council in particular has done a lot of good things for the city, and I think over the last 3 or 4 years, it's been mentioned that we have Jim O'Connor, who's done a wonderful job, Cindy Lawson. I think the attitude of the staff is better. We've come back and supported our lifeguards. We've supported 911. We have put the cemetery and other properties into the charter. We've done a number of good things. But unfortunately, I think we're only halfway done. I see the electric as only halfway done. I mean, we're going to have to either find a solution to the sale, or we're going to have to get to a sustainable place with lower rates. We are only halfway done on pension reform. We've got to have pension reform for the city to be viable into the future. We have numbers of infrastructure problems having to do with streets and with stormwater utility. We have $500,000 a year we can't finance, which would force a tax increase, I'm afraid. And I will be doing a PowerPoint on that tomorrow after I get further education. So there are a number of things in the wind that I would like to be able to finish and have a more orderly transition. But regardless, no matter who is mayor, I would strongly recommend to council that I be allowed to bring some of these issues forth. I'll give you a couple of them now. I believe that we have to press on with the rent issue, in other words, stopping short-term rental. That's something we could bring forth on December 5th to the legislative session. I believe that at the legislative session last year, I was sitting in the front row, but I didn't defend the city. This year, the city is going to have to be defended. Someone's going to have to go to Tallahassee on the 25th for the results of the PSC. We can have a transition of all those things, and I'm more than happy to do that. But to answer your question, I feel like I can carry those forward at least for the next 6 months. That's how I feel about it. I also feel that since I won't be running again, and it's a terrible thing to say you're a lame duck, that some better transition halfway through the year would make more sense, frankly, if that's possible under the charter. So I would rather continue. I will tell you that I'll have to give up some work that I'm doing and some income I'm doing, but I'm willing to do that because I have only one reason for doing this, and that is keep Vero Vero. I love Vero Beach, and I was a couple places recently, and people said to me, "You really do love Vero Beach." And I've really never had a home before, and nor has Bobby. She was a military brat, I was a corporate brat, and this is a wonderful place, and I'm dedicated to it. But I will serve you, Jay, or I will be mayor with perfect happiness.
Yes.
Mr. Winger.
Yes.
Mr. Winger is the mayor.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. I yield the meeting to you for election of vice mayor.
Yes, I'm humbled, and I feel a big responsibility, and I want to say that we have a particularly strong city council. I feel like I want to nominate Jay Kramer because he's my obvious successor, and because he's been so strong in support, and he is very strong on the issues. I look at Amelia and I see her as a comer, and I wish I could nominate both. I think we have to have Jay Kramer as vice mayor, and I think we have to be thinking about him in the future. He's young, I'm old. I think the future is with the young, not the old. So I nominate Jay Kramer. I'm sorry for the long speech, but I'm emotional about it.
Mayor, if I may interrupt, we need to open public comment on the subject of Vice Mayor.
Public comment, please. I can't imagine anyone would not want Jay Kramer. Are there further nominations? Seeing none, I believe Jay Kramer is Vice Mayor.
I need to call the roll first.
Go ahead.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Winger? Mayor Winger?
Yes. I started a comment a minute ago, and I do want to finish it. Miss Graves has done absolutely a wonderful job. She's just outstanding. I don't think it's any secret that I'm a middle of the roader, and I think Randy Old, who I've been working with for the last 6 or 7 months, and who comes from the world of big finance, not big manufacturing as I do, is going to be a wonderful, wonderful addition. We all know Jay Kramer and what he's done for this town, Main Street, the fundraising events, his love for the city. I think he's a comer in politics, quite frankly. And it's always glad to have Mrs. Turner. She and I are politically somewhat different in the spectrum, but you need that. You need the ability to talk about issues fairly on both sides. And so I think this is going to be a wonderful city council. I really, really do. What do we have to do next, Mr. Attorney?
Next is your seating assignment and appointments to commissions and boards.
Well, if I may have the vice mayor here, and if me would trade with Mr. Kramer, is that?
Would you consider sitting one down and letting Mr. Kramer sit here?
I would indeed.
Okay.
I would indeed. I think that's see, this is the sort of thing that she brings to us.
Go ahead. I can't get back. Sit down. I can't get back. Oh, let's see what he left me.
A charger.
Charger.
Mrs. Bach, I'd like to go through the commissions and boards and think about each one individually, if that's possible.
I have actually put them on the agenda for tomorrow night's meeting.
That's perfectly
Okay.
acceptable.
May I make a suggestion, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
When we're reviewing the committee appointments and boards, is that we group those by those that have a monthly commitment meeting and also require travel, so that we don't have, we can distribute that additional burden or commitment among the council, because some of these boards require a good deal of time and effort.
I think that's agreeable, is it not? All right, and is it agreeable tomorrow night under my matters that I bring forth some items that I believe that I need guidance on and that the council needs to give direction on?
Certainly,
So
as well as the other council.
it's going to take probably 10 or 15 minutes, and my presentation PowerPoint on the stormwater utility will take 10 or 15 minutes also, so it'll be a PowerPoint presentation. Further comment from council before we go on to the Sunshine Law?
We do have a call for public comment, but you could go ahead and ask for it.
Public comment? I think Peggy's not coming for public comment.
No.
She's coming to sunshine us.
If they want any public comment on the Sunshine Law, go for it.
By the way, Peggy, I mean, this is really quite appropriate because some of these policy matters, how we handle litigation, how we do this, that, and the other. The Sunshine Law means that I can't talk to Mrs. Turner or Mr. Old, and so you're going to be explaining that to us and to the public why we have to do it the way we have to do it. Go ahead.
Great. Well, good morning and congratulations, and welcome back and welcome here. I'm Peggy Lyon, Assistant City Attorney, and I think I've been trotted out for many years to do this speech, and I have some good news and some bad news today. The good news is I'm really going to be brief, and that's for several reasons. 5 of the people up here have been on boards and commissions and councils for a long time, and you all know the Sunshine Law, you know the Public Records Law. Interestingly enough, after last year's presentation on my top 10 questions for the Sunshine Law and Public Records Law, I have had almost no questions this year from appointed officials or from City Council. And I think that the education has worked not only within the city, but I've been asked to do a lot of presentations outside of the city this past year. And I love getting the word out. So if anyone out there wants to have someone come give them a presentation on the Sunshine Law, give me a call. I really don't mind doing it, and I like spreading the word. Another reason that I'm going to be brief is that the Florida legislature didn't pass a lot of bills this past year, but they did pass one that kind of caught us up with the county and the constitutional officers. And that is beginning January 2015, you all will need to do 4 hours of certified ethics, public records, and sunshine. So Tammy and I are trying desperately to get the Florida League of Cities to let us host that event here in Indian River County. Jury's still out whether we're going to convince them to come. I told Tammy, tell them how wonderful Vero Beach is, and maybe they'll come. But we'll let you know. So we'll be meeting again in January or soon after to do 4 hours of what I would normally do today. The bad news that I have, and this is the first time I've ever done this where I felt constrained not to speak out too much on the state of what is going on with public records law in the state of Florida right now. I had 2 examples I wanted to give you. I don't feel like I should mention those at a public meeting. That's how bad it is. While there are a lot of people out there who are looking for public records and following their constitutional right to do so, there are some folks out there who are looking for a profit motive. And it has gotten so bad in some places, especially in South Florida, that cities are looking to using some fairly innovative legal means to try to protect their cities. And I don't want to draw any fire to our city, so I'm not going to say anything else about that. But if you have any questions or if you want to talk more about the Sunshine Law, I know Councilmember Old is going to come up and talk to me about particularly quasi-judicial, because in his position on the Finance Commission, he's never had to do that, always had legislative. So we'll be going over that. But I'm told we have the best coffee in City Hall. I make it every morning. So if anybody wants to come up and share a cup of coffee and talk to me about some of these issues, I would love to have you come up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you all get a copy of this? Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
Is there further business of this meeting? Seeing none, I guess I'll ask for a call for adjournment. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned, 5-0.